On the surface, well, it's business as usual. Everything is running, profits are up, yet you have this uneasy feeling like there was thousands of small things driving you to a breaking point. Do you know it? Well, you are not alone. The catch is sometimes we are too close to it to be able actually to notice it. Stick around and watch my video and I'll show you how I broke out of it and how you can do it too. Oh, it's good to be back again in the nature. I have two stories I'd like to share, and both stories are very much alike. And despite the fact the first one is actually pretty personal, they both affect business operations. I would like to explain you why in the past 4 months I didn't shoot almost a single video and how this translates into the business world and what are the consequences and how to fix it. Let's go. Please notice that all of these things, they were not happening at once, they were happening slowly over time. It all started with the renovation of the apartment complex where I live, and this way I kind of like lost the connection to my safe place. That was a bit stressful. So what happened next, I gathered 200 euros in parking fines because I forgot to extend my parking license. All that built a nice background. What happened next? My GoPro was overheating. I was going completely bananas with the GoPro app, trying to synchronize the time on my camera. And of course, the design of Media Mod didn't help either. I had some videos I had to edit, but my editing software actually had a horrible error. It was not showing the waveforms for audio tracks. Of course, you have to have a website, 3 templates, and of course the ever-changing content, because my marketing strategy was also changing, because yes, I had to learn a lot in that area. At the same time, on top of that, I was working with 2 consultants on my marketing and personal branding. The problem is that in this area, the results come neither fast nor easy. My calendar was full and I had a lot of work. And I must admit, my job sometimes can get a little bit stressful. As you already know, I also decided to take this D3 certification because I really wanted to up the game in terms of my soft skills. But that gave me, of course, an ability to procrastinate everything even further because yet another thing was not ready. All these things were happening slowly over time. Each cat was coming before I could recover from the previous one. But the thing is, the time between those cats was long enough so that I didn't manage to connect all the dots together. Because of all that, my general perception of reality turned into an unconditional safe mode. So I was reacting differently to many things, and I was perceiving everything as a new normality, which in reality was the creeping normality. Now I know that on a subconscious level, I was actually operating in a completely different way and I was making decisions that I wouldn't make normally under normal circumstances. Some of my positive traits entered a non-productive area. So for example, my perfectionism was working against me and my attention to detail was actually getting me stuck. Then who is guilty? Well, did you ever hear about a concept called death by 1,000 cuts or creeping normality? It's a change that normally would be very objectionable if it happened all at once. But in this case, it happens very slowly over time, bit by bit. It's like cutting a salami. And because it happens so slowly over time, we're actually tricked into accepting it as the new creeping normality. This is one of the reasons why it's so dangerous, because it sneaks up onto you and it creeps into your normal daily life. What will happen if you ignore it for too long? Well, then it's like in physics. All those cats, they will accumulate and they will achieve a critical mass. And then once this happens, it's neither easy nor quick to recover from such a situation. What's very important here is that all of the points I will be discussing now, they were all happening simultaneously at the same time. The company has been in a desperate need of digitalization, and there was one critical process that had to be digitalized ASAP. Once I got in, I noticed that they are about to hit an iceberg because their internal sales system has been choking and could not keep up with the demand. On top of that, their infrastructure required a major overhaul. They had several projects that have been run by disparate IT teams, and these projects were sometimes stepping on each other's toes. and that was causing tensions on the infrastructural level. They required a tailored approach when it comes to horizontal scaling because some of their software was very mutable in that regard. They required a custom IT strategy because the set of problems they had was very challenging. They had also some budget constraints, and not all of these things could happen all at once. Icing on the cake, they also needed help with IT procurement because they were an easy prey, an easy game for sales representatives that were trying to push them smoke and mirrors all the time. And as of today, unfortunately, it still happens that IT sales representatives, they promise things that simply don't exist. The point is, they grew to accept all these limitations and things that when you now hear it all at once, you're thinking like, oh my God, how is it possible? How can you live like this? Here comes the twist. They were actually a functional company with profits and growing, slowly but growing. That's the trick. It all happened slowly over time and it grew inside them, and they accepted it as the new normality, the creeping normality. And on a subconscious level, it was of course limiting them and their operations every single day. How do I know this? Well, after we changed the infrastructure, digitalized the required services, and did a couple of other things, suddenly the whole thing started working in a completely different way and the company started breathing normally. So how can you get out of it? How can you notice that you have creeping normality in your life or in your company? It's actually very simple. It's just like a periodical medical check. You have to have someone from the outside that is not biased by your organization and that is an expert in a given area come in and make an audit, evaluate the state of affairs, do a regular checkup and see what's going on. I was simply lucky, and my customer was lucky too, because I was working with Eva when it started happening, and Eva was actually nudging me, she was messaging me, she was asking me, Michael, why there are no videos coming up, what is happening, I haven't seen any posts and so on. And a similar story was with my customer. They came to me with a slightly different problem and I started digging inside because this is exactly what I do. I started asking questions, and that's when I noticed that, hey, you are just in front of an iceberg. We should start doing something about that. So what is the action plan if you would like to actually break this vicious circle? First of all, it's just like with procrastination. You have to decide you want to get rid of it and just start doing it. Create an overview, and a Kanban is a perfect thing for that. And start doing things one by one. And don't lose the cadence. It's very important that you don't give up in the middle of the process. You will be tempted many times to stop it and not continue your change. And there will come up new procrastination ideas, and you will probably find new reasons why you shouldn't continue executing your plan. Another trap is, as you will be doing it, you will probably notice that you're not satisfied with the results because you would like to have everything ready just like that in a moment. But this is not going to happen. The problem is recovery will take time and it will take significant effort from your side. The thing is, the sooner you do it, the less exponential it will be, if I can say it in this way. And to be honest, as a scientist, I really would like to have some of the things confirmed. So what I did, I reached out to a professional, and Barbara, she actually agreed to comment on the problems that I've been experiencing, and she was nice enough to give also a few professional tips on how you can spot it exactly on your own. If you happen to be just listening to this video, then please direct your eyes to the screen because the next part will be in Polish, and of course there will be transcription in English available, but you have to read it on your own.
Bardzo dużo mówi się w naszym życiu o metodzie małych kroków, które prowadzą nas do realizacji swojego celu i zmiany nawyków. Zapominamy jednak, że te same małe kroki, niezauważalne często i pomijane, prowadzą nas do pewnego rodzaju destrukcji. Chciałabym Ci dzisiaj dać parę sposobów na to, jak z tego wyjść, jak to zauważyć, jak do tego nie dopuścić. Po pierwsze, drzazgi w Twoim życiu. Zatrzymaj się, rozejrzyj się wokół siebie i sprawdź, czy są takie elementy, które Cię irytują, denerwują, jakieś przedmioty, które dostałeś, na które musisz patrzeć, które wprowadzają niepokój w Twoje ciało. Wywal je dzisiaj, wszystkie, serio. 2. Uważność na swoje ciało. Ono komunikuje pierwsze. Jeżeli jakaś sytuacja, jakieś wyjście, czy jakieś przedmioty, czy jacyś ludzie powodują dyskomfort w Twoim ciele, zatrzymaj się przy tym i zastanów, skąd się to bierze, dokąd Cię to prowadzi. 3. Uważność na swoje życie, czyli działanie, a nie działalność. Bądź świadom tego, co robisz, a nie idź na autopilocie, co jest naturalne jakby w dzisiejszych czasach, że my w zasadzie robimy, a nie myślimy, po co robimy, albo nawet nie wiemy, że robimy. Do tego wrzucam Ci ćwiczenie. Wieczorową porą usiądź, załóż sobie zeszyt, zrób to w komórce, obojętne, ale zapisz 5 sukcesów swojego dnia. To pozwoli Ci zatrzymać się i zreflektować, czy w ogóle wiesz, co działo się w Twoim dniu. Jeśli nie, potrzebna będzie większa interwencja. I tak na dobrą sprawę, jeżeli zastosujesz te proste wskazówki, będziesz mógł żyć świadomie i nie wpaść w pułapkę tego, że po jakimś czasie obudzisz się i okaże się, że Twoje życie jest absolutnie nie Twoje. Pozdrawiam serdecznie. Basia Lech.
Crippling normality has potential to destroy our personal and business lives, and often, even though it happens in your personal sphere, it will have some influence on your business operations. Most likely, we might not be able to spot it happening by ourselves, simply because we are too biased. We need someone with a fresh eye that comes from the outside that will take a look at the things. And it becomes even harder if it's outside of your regular scope. Like in my case, I'm not a marketing expert, but I just happen to be doing my own marketing. The customer that is experiencing all those problems, they are not IT experts. They are doing something completely different. So it's obvious. It was very difficult for them to spot all these things because that is not something that lies within the area of their own expertise. So the takeaway message from this video is every now and then you need a competent pair of eyes that is not biased by your own organization, or it's not yourself, to take a look and simply make an audit, assess the state of affairs, and take a look if there's something that is either broken or about to get broken. As you know, I'm an IT expert. So if you need a competent pair of eyes to take a look at your business from that perspective, from that angle, do not hesitate to contact me.